Hi, I'm Mr. Yuck, and I'll be teaching you how to pen the MOLOT today. There aren't really that many weak spots on this, but it does have weak spots. The most significant weak spot, in my opinion, is this 40mm bar underneath the back of the turret. So on level ground, if they're angled, they don't have to angle very much, even an angle like this. You can shoot this 40mm bar that comes up off of the roof of the hull. It's kind of hard to see in the armor viewer, but later in the video I'll show you in a custom game where to aim. You can pen this with literally anything in Arrow 3 as long as you can see it. But yeah, this 40mm plate pokes a pretty decent ways up off of the roof, and you can pen that with anything as long as it's angled. The next most important weak spot is also 40mm, the sides of the tank. So if you have a 125mm gun or up, you can overmatch the side very easily from literally any angle. Even an angle, like this, if you can hit the 40mm plate, you'll pen it. So really you can only do that with the Eastern main battle tanks and some of the premiums. You can also pen the side of the tank with ATGMs pretty easily, even at an angle like this. It's pretty easy to just shoot through the drive-thru with missiles and pen. Those are the most useful weak spots. You also have this plate, the 60mm section of the low plate. You can pen this with ATGMs very consistently on level ground. The only time you're really not going to be able to do this is if they're angling their hull downhill and you can't see it, but if they're on level ground or above you especially, you can pen this 60mm plate with all the ATGMs in Arrow 3, except for the ones on the MBT-70. I guess really it's heat rounds that can pen this. And ATGMs have heat mechanics, so you need like 700-ish millimeters of heat pen to go through this. So the Thumper's heat rounds, as long as the MOLOT isn't very angled, you can low plate the MOLOT with Thumper heat, because it's about 750, I think. And if it's completely unangled on level ground, you can pen this about 50% of the time with heat rounds from tanks like the M1A2. If the MOLOT is above you, you can pen the 60mm section of the low plate with the heat from like the Leopard 2A5, the M1A2, or the Leclerc. They only have like 590 to 600mm. Doesn't work very well, but it's better than 0% chance, which is what you have with AP. And you also have this weak spot. So if you're above the MOLOT, you can shoot through the mantlet into this hole, or the holes that are underneath the towers to the left and right of the mantlet. Because the turret isn't a hitbox, but the hull is. So if you're above the MOLOT, you can shoot down into this hole. Or if the MOLOT's pointing down a hill, so if the MOLOT's pointing down a hill, you can shoot through the mantlet. Or even if they're turned to the side, you can still put holes, you can still put shots through the breach into this hole on the top of the hull. And you can also pen this section. So if you shoot through the very top portion of the upper plate with the MOLOT or the Object 292, or you need about 900mm of pen with armor piercing, and you can shoot through this section of the upper plate and pen as long as they're on level ground. If they're angled too much, it doesn't seem to work very well. And that pretty much sums up the weak points of the MOLOT. There aren't very many, and honestly, with some guns, you can't really do anything. If the MOLOT's not angled at all, and you don't have ATGMs, good luck. Unless you're above them, you can shoot through the mantlet into the hull, or, that's pretty much it. Now, usually people are angled slightly. And even at a slight angle, you can pen this with the Eastern main battle tanks. It's very, very easy to do. It's just, if you have a 120mm gun or a 105, they have to be angled so that you can shoot through this 40mm section, like, that pokes up under the back of the turret. You can see that when they angle, and it'll be you'll see it in the custom game and you'll understand what I'm talking about. Anyway, at this point in the video, I'm going to switch over to the custom gameplay, and that isn't really a realistic representation of what you end up seeing in battle. It's just supposed to show you where to aim, you know, where the weak spots are.